Did the Reserve Bank exhaust all options before putting VBS Mutual Bank under curatorship? Why did municipalities choose to bank with a mutual bank and not with commercial banks? Is the appointment of the curator in the best interest of the clients of VBS? What is Cosatu's position on the Reserve Bank's decision? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong, Mraro, Kurula, and welcome to the show. My name is Mpotsedu. The future of VBS Mutual Bank and its clients continues to dominate headlines. This follows the announcement by Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago on Sunday that VBS has been placed under the curatorship of Sizwe and Saluba Gobodo. The bank is said to have ignored repeated warnings from National Treasury not to accept municipal funds. The Municipal Finance Management Act prohibits municipalities from banking with mutual banks. VBS shot to prominence after it lent former President Jacob Zuma a 7.8 million rand loan for the Nkandla homestead upgrades in 2016. VBS was established in 1982 and initially operated as a vendor building society. It received its permanent mutual bank license in 2000. It has about 30,000 clients with deposits estimated at about 800 million rand. Kganyago says the bank will remain open for business and that lending and transactional banking continues. We are live and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial is 089-110-4210. Internationally, +2789-110-4210. Tweet us your comments at questiontime24. And a reminder that you can also stream us on our Facebook page. Well, you will see the page if you go into our SABC News Online there, and on our YouTube channel, YouTube/digital, or rather SABC Digital News. My guest, Stumo Dlamini, is the president of Cosatu, and Sia Kulu is Mzansi Business Forum president. They join me in studio today, and let me welcome them. Gentlemen, welcome. Let me start with you, President. You seem to have not taken kindly to the Reserve Bank's decision. What informs that decision, your position rather?
Yes, good evening, Paul, and good evening to Babash and the viewers. Indeed, the Federation has taken serious exception that the Reserve Bank, which itself requires serious transformation. Remember the decision from the NC's conferences that that bank should, its ownership should be South Africa, and they choose to punish a bank, VBS, which we believe comes closer to what we, the workers in Cosatu in particular, have been saying when we spoke about a workers' bank, a people's bank, a bank that is accessible to the people, particularly in the rural areas, and that instead of transforming the sector to multiply banks like this one, the Act seeks to squash the attempt of the founders of the bank, who I really congratulate as Cosatu, that they found a bank that is accessible to the rural poor, even when you do not have land or a house to put up as collateral. They still did business with you in that area. I'm informed that the rate of repayments by those who would have been loaned by the bank in rural areas, it's quite higher than what those who come from the urban areas are doing in that bank.
Do you know the reason why? It's because it's a rural bank. It's a Bantustan establishment that was meant to service people in the rural areas.
South Africa needs to pursue that direction, because for a long time we've failed to change course in the rural areas and have built institutions that have monopolized the space. The commercial banks, only 4 here in South Africa, but 2 quite critically. Yes. We see a selective approach by the bank, the Reserve Bank, in dealing with issues. Here was African Bank. African Bank would have get herself involved in reckless lending, leading into a situation where workers were in trouble because of that situation. What did the bank do when that bank was collapsing? They instead bailed it out, spending billions into the African bank under their supervision. In this one, the approach is that cut the municipalities mustn't bank with the bank, and actually discouraging those who can strengthen that bank. Instead of strengthening that capacity, we are destroying it.
Who does Cosatu bank with?
Exactly. Because we want to change that thing. Cosatu banks with this because they've monopolized the space. They even prevented us, told us that it is difficult to establish a workers' bank. It's expensive, we cannot afford it, yet they were forcing us to that monopolized space. And we are saying the bank of the future is the bank that is able to accommodate the poor and not subject them into poverty, which is what the VBS has been doing. We are informed.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, if VBS is so good, why don't you shift your accounts? Correct.
The system, which is why we are raising the issue of the transformation of this sector, compels that you, for instance, I never knew there was VBS until the issue of the loan they offered the former President Zuma. And when I then got to come closer to understand this bank, we're shocked. We preaching this thing, want it to happen, yet we've been locked into the commercial banks all the time.
I'm told you also are not impressed with the Reserve Bank.
Good evening, Paul. Good evening to the President of Cosatu, Sopuza. Look, our stance as the Black Business Forum, we have a very strong belief that something could have been done to prevent this act. On my research, which is not much, I discovered that there was an arrangement done between the Registrar of Banks, Mr. Naidu. We were told this by the CEO in his statement of VBS, who then said actually they had made a loan to
PIC.
To PIC, yes, which was going to assist them, and they were given till, I think, on Monday,
the 12th,
yes, to respond on that, and which was looking positively.
Then, how do you know it was looking positive? I mean, this bank has been transgressing all laws.
I've got it on good record.
It's no longer good.
Yes, that it was. But on Sunday, a day before it happened, where a decision was going to come from PIC, immediately, what happens? There was a rush. I'm sure the governor had to come out of church for that press conference, to rush and do a press conference. What was the rush if they had been afforded a time till Monday to be given a chance to raise the money, of which it was looking positive? Hence, we have a very big problem with the decision by the registrar to renege from the agreement that they had originally to what? To raise the funds or fail to raise the funds, but they were not even afforded that small time to be able to recover.
18 months.
No. Prior to that 18 months process, there was an agreement before, because they were informed. Now, we must remember, they were informed that the decision of curatorship is what the Reserve Bank plans to do. So my problem, and which I still sit on it, is that what was the rush? I'm sure everyone, they left their Sunday dinners, they came out from churches, all the people, just to go and do that press conference. Why is it so hush-hush to go and oppress a black-owned facility like that? Why can't we see that happening when white-owned companies have the similar problems, whereby on Sunday we hear that there's a very serious step, there's a press conference based on what we have seen, what white firms are doing to our economy. This is Steinhoff, for instance. We should have seen Sunday afternoon conferences to speak about Steinhoff.
Okay.
It was never the case.
Now, should the Reserve Bank then keep quiet, because you saying this is a black bank? Should a black bank be left to operate when they say these problems emanated from a failure of the board of directors and executive management to manage the mutual bank's rapid growth and its funding and liquidity position.
But on a Sunday, do you have to come out of church just to rush and make this statement, knowing very well on Monday there's a possibility that these people can come back and say we have secured 1.5 billion?
Hold it there. Sean, welcome to the show.
Good evening to you and your viewers.
Yes.
My question is to both the gentlemen, the president of Cosatu. You're asking a question about why hasn't Cosatu moved their account to VBS? And he found out that the president has got a loan from VBS way back then. How come he hasn't moved his account yet? What is he waiting for? But he's talking of transformation. And the other question I have for both these gentlemen, when, and all our politicians across the board, when are we going to start referring to South Africans as South Africans? They're not black South Africans, white South Africans, transform this, transform that. When are we going to start looking to get value for money from every department? Not because I'm Chinese or I'm Indian, I must get something. No, it's about South Africa. We are South Africans now. We are not white and black and green and yellow. We need to start looking at people as South Africans. So, Mr. President from Cosatu, please tell us, why haven't you moved your account to VBS as yet?
Okay, Sean, thanks very much.
As I said, it's a fair question when you raised it. And that's the discussion we're having as the Federation. This space has been monopolized, still is monopolized. But I wanted to raise this point after Ubabulu raised the issue of this preferred intervention on the VBS when you leave the others. ABSA. Yeah. You know the history about ABSA and what the public protector in this country has said about ABSA and what the Reserve Bank have said about that. Contrarily, if the Reserve Bank was fair, they would have acted in the same way they are acting on this one. On a huge issue ABSA is done in this country, they say, well, that's but one example. He has made the example of Steinhoff. Here we're raising the issue of selective action by the Reserve Bank, which shows its non-transformation. This space is monopolized, and the Reserve Bank is assisting the monopolization by killing those who are coming up to change and disrupt the status quo in this country.
Let's go to Palaburwa. Who do we have? Robert. Robert, welcome.
Robert, how are you?
I'm well.
You know, I've got a problem with those gentlemen here,
Okay.
Dumo Dlamini and the gentlemen. Those guys, actually, I support the last speaker. Those guys, they must stop taking chances. The question is why they don't move their capital, their money to BBS. Those guys, they're just playing games. Actually, they did that during the conference. They're claiming they're supporting so-called radical transformation. If they support BBS, why can they move their funds to BBS? Dumo Dlamini is bringing ABSA or NetBank or something. But the question is, why can't you move your money to BBS? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Robert. Mia, welcome. Mia?
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hey, that my president today. How are you?
What's on that work?
Hey, that is Dumo.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Nopal.
No, you see the problem which has been created, this was done deliberately. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
This problem was done deliberately because the National Treasury issued the instruction to the client of banks, which is the municipalities, that they must withdraw their investment there. Yes. Under normal circumstances, even on the Big Four, if you will have a massive withdrawal, you will have a liquidity crisis. But this crisis was done deliberately. Yes, sir.
But VBS was not complying by doing business with municipalities. Should we overlook that just because they are a so-called black bank?
What non-compliance is it being referred to?
MFMA does not allow municipalities to bank with a mutual bank.
In that.
Yes, it's true.
Exactly what we are querying. You cannot decide on where to invest. If the level playing field has been leveled and municipalities are allowed to invest anywhere else, this is a collusion of its own kind. I don't have a doubt that this matter, if Competition Commission can be involved, it will find there was a serious collusion on this matter. If the problem was this bank has been looting the money, it couldn't do it, it would be something. Now here municipalities are told, withdraw your investment en masse, thus creating a deliberate crisis to suggest there's a liquidity crisis.
Okay, Ndademir.
This was not done. This so-called crisis could have not been there.
Thanks very much, Ndademir. Well, let me allow you time to respond also. But also tell us, do you bank with VBS?
No, I don't. In fact, I will mobilize all my 15,000 plus members that I lead to bank with VBS the moment they get a commercial license, for two reasons. We must never shy away.
So you acknowledge, I'm sorry to interject. So you acknowledge that they do not have the license to do what they've been doing?
No, look, this is how it works. In terms of the Banks Act, a mutual bank is not operating under the Banks Act. It's actually exempted. It works under the Mutual Banks Act. Now, those are different. I've even made examples before. Itala Bank, Post Banks, they have been given exemption by the Minister of Finance to operate as banks, yes, but without any full functionalities of a normal bank. They are not also commercial banks. Yeah. So I fully support that notion that something could have been done in order to assist, because the Reserve Bank as the regulator, okay, and should have made a point that they are afforded a chance to be assisted. To add on that, let me tell you where my point is coming from. Looking at the fact that a day before a decision was made by PIC whether to recapitalize the bank or not, immediately on that time a press conference is held. So to me it says the registrar, Mr. Naidu, they knew what they were doing. They had to act fast before a solution is coming for these people, so that this black bank cannot work. It is as simple as that in our view. And thirdly, we should not be afraid as black people of South Africa to fight and defend what is our own. In terms of the demographics of this country, are the majority, we cannot be apologetic. It's time that black people in this country should unite and support our own. Let me tell you what Monopoly has done to us.
Wait. Wait. Before you tell me about Monopoly.
Yes.
If you are this majority that you're talking about,
yes,
why don't you then tell these directors and the board of directors and everybody else at VBS to comply with the law until you have changed it?
They will comply. They will comply, and they were in the process of complying. That is why they were hindered. You see, there's something dangerous we must not lose sight of.
Yes,
we have been colonized in our minds to believe that anything that comes from the other side, it's so pure and right. Our own, it's so congested. Why? For example, right now, I heard it that people were trying to withdraw money today, over 1,000 rand. They were told that only 1,000 they can withdraw from VPS. That was the maximum they could withdraw. That is the strategy they wanted, to frustrate our people, so that's what they will hate VPS. They will hate black-owned formations.
Yeah,
so that no.
I'm also black, by the way.
Yes.
And I don't agree with you, because I don't want to be part of a system that is not complying with the law.
Mpo, open your eyes, my brother.
All right.
Yeah. Look, here are facts. ABSA gets the Reserve Bank to assist it to rescue, what is it, Bangkok?
Yes.
How much was spent there? Over 2 billion rands on that one, a loan that was never repaid up to today.
Yeah.
The people's man.
Yes.
What did the Reserve Bank do about that? They are sitting on that matter. I've just given you an example of the African Bank.
Yes.
Subject workers and the poor to a huge debt. What does the bank do, the Reserve Bank? They come in and bail a collapsing African bank because of its own mistake. What do they do with this bank, VBS, which is trying to do and doing business for the issue of the municipalities, instead of saying, can we help you out of this? I hear you take about the issue of 1 year, 18 months being engaged on that issue. You have a bank, a black-owned bank that is trying to come up with a solution. But the big ones are assisted by the Reserve Bank to suppress the emerging.
Why were you not there, why were you not there as Cosatu to say, VBS, we see you are trying to come up with something good for black people, we want to help you, so that indeed this help, that the intervention that you're
to that question.
Yes.
Earlier, even the two listeners who raised the question, we have considered that we should have come in earlier. We are coming in now to say, let's support that bank which is being squashed under by the Reserve Bank.
Who owns VBS?
Vele Investments is the majority shareholder.
Who is Vele Investments?
It's a society that founded the bank. I don't have total information, but I know Vele Investments is the majority. It's Vele Investment who, in fact, took the matter to court. I think yesterday.
By the way, the same Vele Investment that you're talking about has now reneged on that court application.
Yes, I know, because there are things that cannot be divulged right now. There are reasons for doing that. But my standpoint, Paul, let me tell you this. Our country, our people, especially the majority, in particular black, we have been so much infiltrated with a thinking that we cannot believe in our own things. This is caused by the propaganda that is always spread when anything has got bank management, black management on it. This is the problem where we come from.
But black management must comply with the rules.
In the apartheid time,
yes,
Absa Bank was rescued by the apartheid government, and there was no issue about it. And our leaders, I'm even challenging the president, Cyril Ramaphosa and his leadership, that they must do something. They are a black government. They should stand up and support the rescue of this bank so that it could come back into its feet. Right now, the very same thing that they are doing of curatorship, today people can't get more than 1,000 rand from their bank account. What is it saying? What? Let's frustrate them. After frustrating them, the very same majority of black people, if you can interview all the people that's bank there, they say they want nothing to do with the bank, majority of them. I've not interviewed them, but this is just a view based on the commotion of today alone. Some wanted to bury families, they couldn't get the majority of the money. Curator is involved. That's why I said this curatorship thing is problematic. Me, I will not shy away from speaking what I think benefits our people. It's time that we should be acknowledged as the majority in this country. We should not be behaving as the minority in this country. This is my point.
So just because you're the majority, and I'll go back to this, this bank did not comply with the laws of the country. Now, just because they represent black people, and unfortunately we do not have enough time. I would go into the ownership of that very investment that you're talking about.
We must be assisted to obey the laws. We must not be killed in being...
Yeah, but they didn't say they must close shop. They said we are helping you. They may come back.
No, they are destroying them.
So you don't trust what Khanyago said?
No, it's not innocent.
It's not. I agree too. It's not.
It's not innocent.
This has got a third hand on it, and it's visible.
Okay, tell us whose hand is that?
Let me be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what we want.
There are people who only view things in their own perception only. Me, I've sat down and I studied this very carefully, and I established this Sunday action alone says a lot of story. If you could hear on the statement that was issued by Vele, where they say on Monday there was a possibility of PIC coming back to capitalize us. But they had to
there's a lot to talk about that PIC
yes.
Anyway.
But yeah, so all I'm saying in Paul, we need to move away from being apologetic, from standing for what is right.
Okay.
It is right to defend a black bank that has got a potential to grow.
It would make it much easier if all those 16,000 members of yours were banking with VBS.
I agree with you.
Yes,
We agree.
you're right.
But we are out of time, eh? Time flies when you're having a good time. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, you have yourself a wonderful time.